This is your Northwoods hunting tip of the week. The question has been asked, how early should I be in my tree stand for deer hunting? Well, that simple question has multiple layers of answers to it. One being, what type of situation are you hunting? Are you setting up on the edge of a field in a deer blind tree stand where you can easily, quietly slip in with minimal disturbance? Or are you tracking in the woods 20 or 30 minutes in order to set up? I try to be in the stand no later than 30 minutes before legal hunting time, preferably 60, especially during gun season, whenever I can get in the stand 60 to 70 minutes before legal hunting time, as people will be coming into the woods all the way up to daybreak, preferably bouncing and bumping the deer into my area, and I am ready to harvest them. I've heard people also say they'll go in the stand up to 2 hours before legal hunting time. This is all based on your situation, but I would always recommend a minimum of 30, preferably 60. This has been your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. This is your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. We've seen it over and over again on DVDs, YouTube videos, hunting podcasts, and hunting shows about how safety is the number one thing that we need to be on our mind when we're hunting, especially in a tree stand. The old style safety harness that are just a belt around your waist and attaches to a tree, those have faded out. You need to have a full chest apparatus that has a harness that hooks around the tree. 5-point, I believe, is what they're called. So when you fall out, it will catch you and it won't twist you around, and you can be much more safer in the stand. I have one of those. I've never fell out of a tree stand and certainly don't want to. But what you want to do with that safety harness is, before hunting season, go in your backyard or at camp and hook the system up just a few feet off the ground, 2 or 3 feet, and then hang in it and see if it actually will hold you. So you're not getting in the tree stand having this false sense of security that the harness you have is actually going to save your life. This has been your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. This is your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. If you're looking at getting into the world of archery deer hunting, it can be quite overwhelming with the selection of bows available on the market, from a several $100 crossbow to a several $1,000 one, and the same in the compound. You also have recurves. Is there one bow that's better than the other? Yes and no. It comes down to what works best for you. Are you more comfortable shooting a bow like a gun in a crossbow situation, or you want to be more traditional like in a compound? Is a cheaper bow better or worse than a expensive bow? Yes and no. I went into a reputable bow shop. They asked, what am I looking for? I said a compound bow, and within this price range, and they got me within $50 less than my top end request. It had all the components that I needed. You can go to a bow shop and spend several thousand just for the bow itself, and then add the elements in which you want. The higher end bows have more adjustability, fine-tuned, than the lower end bows. But if you're persistent, practice, know how the bow will react to how you're shooting, a low end bow will dispatch an animal just as well as a $4,000 or $5,000 bow. This has been your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. This is your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. It is often said hunting is fun and the work begins when the animal's on the ground. But sometimes finding the animal in which you've shot can be a challenge. For whatever reason, whether the shot placement was wrong, the deer stepped at the wrong time, you jerked at releasing your trigger, whatever the case is. In that instance, if you have doubts, give it extra time. Back away from the situation, either go to camp and get help, or just give it extra time, or wait until the morning to go look at where your animal may be at. That can be difficult, that can be a challenge, especially if you have a high level of predators in your area that may get your animal before you do. If you are able to follow a blood trail, find your animal laying on the ground. Look at its eyes. If the eyes are open and the tongue is typically hanging out, that animal is dispatched, but still take precautionary measures and make sure it is that. If you walk up to it and the eyes are closed, the animal is not necessarily dispatched, and you want to be prepared to take the necessary measures in order to dispatch that animal properly. This has been your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. This is your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. It is a challenge in itself to get a white-tailed deer to stop in order to present itself with a shot that you can ethically take and dispatch the animal in a reasonable amount of time. It is even more of a challenge and not recommended to take a shot at a running deer. This is in firearms. You have to lead the animal, and the animal is up and down running with the terrain, as well as being cautious of what is beyond that target, because you're probably going to miss. Is it residential area? Is it other other hunters in the woods? What is it? It's one thing if a deer is trotting along and you get it to stop and then take the shot with bow or gun. It's another thing to try to take a shot at a deer running full throttle through the woods or through a field and thinking that you're going to ethically dispatch him. I would advise from that. There'll be other opportunities to hunt deer when they're not running away from you. This has been your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. This is your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. One of the ways in which you can tell where your deer that you're trying to hunt is feeding is by simply looking at the droppings. They'll drop droppings about 8 to 12 times a day. Now this is also depends on where you're hunting. If you're hunting near agricultural fields and you can identify specific fields, okay, that's corn or that's soy or other grains, and there's only one of those fields around, then you know that's where it's been eating. Otherwise, you kind of have to do some detective work. I'm in a forest with hundreds and hundreds of acres that is not close to any agricultural field. So dissecting the droppings is a little more of a challenge. You can also see berries, seeds, that type of thing, and kind of know where a berry patch may be or what they're feeding off of. So this is a good way to kind of get a general senses of what the deer's eating, where they're eating it, based on where you're finding the droppings. This has been your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. This is your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. In the deer woods, there's a lot of different animals that will help identify what is coming. Ravens, blue jays, squirrels will all alert you when something is in or coming, and sometimes they will alert other animals when you're making your way into the woods. Also, when you're in the tree stand and you see deer moving through and they may not be targeted animals, you want to let a doe walk or a fawn, or you're waiting for a big buck, watch the behavior of those does, the way the ears are perked up, where they're listening from, what they're looking at. Oftentimes they're watching another deer coming in. A buck in an instance. I've seen this multiple times on video, and you can watch videos to learn this even more intensely, that they will basically tell you, hey, there's something coming in over there. You better get your gun up or your bow up and get ready to harvest. This has been your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. This is your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. If you are capable of creating a trail to your deer stand, deer blind, this is more prominent on private property or your own land rather than public land, you want to make a trail and then also cut all the adjacent limbs that you could brush up against, and even bring the weed whacker or weed eater in and trim the grass down. The purpose of this is everything that you brush against, your boots, your jacket, your backpack, is going to leave scent that deer are going to be able to pick up. So having a path wide enough where you're not going to brush into anything or bump into anything or have to hit stuff with your head is going to allow you to be more stealthy, allow you to get in your stand, and help control the scent elimination issue, in addition to properly cleaning your clothes with the correct scent removing and scent eliminational products. This has been your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. This is your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. This is my archery range here at my permanent campsite in the Northwoods of Wisconsin. Everyone's is different. I'll show you what I have done to mine that you may want to adapt and add to yours. We don't have a central location with targets multiple yardage apart. We have 10, 20, 30, and 40 yard markers, and I focus on 20 and 30 as that is the average that a whitetail is typically harvested. Just got markers there. I've got a stool here for my wife when she shoots her crossbow. And each location, yardage marker, I have either a post or a nail in the tree where I can hang my bow to retrieve the arrows. And then I also have a place, juice bottle cut in half, where I can put the arrows in whenever I'm shooting, have easy access to them. Let's go down and look at the targets here. I've made a frame and I've got 3 bag targets here that I can choose multiple different shots for, that I can be as precise and feel as confident as possible. So when I'm in the tree stand, I know the angle is different, but I know if the deer walks out at 20 or 30 yards, I can put the pin on that deer and feel confident that that shot is going to hit where I am aiming. This has been your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. This is your Northwoods Hunting Tip of the Week. This is our Reveal X Pro Tacticam that we've had overlooking our permanent campsite for 2 years now. Never had a problem until recently. Whenever I engaged the battery after being at camp, I would typically take the battery, my lithium battery, let it hang there, and then at night put it back on, turn it on, go in the tent or wall tent, and have it as a security measure for whatever might be walking through camp. It was triggering multiple pictures per minute and multiple dozens per hour. Couldn't figure out what was going on. After doing some research and then investigating, there was multiple ants that had came up and created a colony inside the camera because of the way the battery was hanging there when it was not in use. And they were getting up and activating the sensor that was taking pictures. So I cleaned all the ants out, let the camera set for several days, turned it back on. The situation that was occurring has now ceased. Now, this should never happen to you in the woods because everything is completely enclosed on all Tacticams as well as most trail cameras. But if this is an issue that is occurring, that you're getting dozens of false triggers, you might have an ant issue inside your camera. This has been your Northwoods hunting tip of the week.